Paranormal Karen, she's so spooky. Paranormal Karen, funny too. Paranormal Karen, she's so spooky. Oh, and did I mention she's funny too? Yeah, cha-cha-cha.
Hey everybody, welcome to Paranormal Karen. It is Sister Sue reading listener mail, and we have two articles that I picked out. You may not be here for the last half of the reading because I'll have to do it because we might not be here. But we are sitting and everybody, thanks for your 5-star reviews. If you haven't done that, folks, I would so appreciate it because it moves the podcast up and it makes me, I guess, does it make my value higher?
Your self-worth?
My self-worth, yes.
Do you feel better about yourself?
I do.
It's cheaper than a therapist.
It is. And real quick, folks, April 5th, I will be in the Chicago area. Go to cvpa.org. That is comedy night at CVPA. And that is a theater show. I love that. That'll be fun. And then if you miss that show in June, I will be in St. Charles and in downtown Chicago. So you can come see a show. And I know there's more between then. Oh, I'll also
Are you
be
telling
at the
them
Nebraska.
the right places, though?
Yeah, I'll also be at the Nebraska. Yes, I am. First place is the theater, CVPA.
Wait, I'm going to fill that in when you're done.
Okay. CVPA Theater. It's it's 40 minutes outside of Chicago. Or that is April 5th. June, I'll actually be in the Great American Comedy Festival, a special guest working with Paul Reiser.
Oh, yay.
Yay. And that'll be in June.
That show he was in with Helen Hunt, but I can't think of its name.
It was called The Show with Helen Hunt. Us or something about us?
No.
The Bright Ones?
Not at all.
Something. He was my two dads when I was little.
Was he?
And I loved him.
I just remember when they were doing the opening, she
All
spit
About You?
on his head. Yes, something like that. Somebody at home is screaming at their podcast, at their iPhone right now, because they know the answer. So we'll just pretend they do.
And so anyways, I'll be at the Great American Comedy Festival. And then the week after that, I'm in Chicago. And so here we are on Paul Reiser show Mad About You.
Oh, that was a good one. Do you remember when she spit toothpaste on his head by accident?
No, but I know that I've worked with him at the
favorite.
Comedy and Magic Club, and he's the nicest man in the world.
I love him.
Yes. And then everybody else in the LA area, you can get my stuff. You can follow me on Facebook or Instagram. And we are at my parents' house. Oh, Funniest Housewives show in Orange County on March 19th. Whole bunch of places that I got to get a calendar on my website. So,
And wait, I have to finish my comment about checking the date.
Okay.
Yes, since my sister announced a few weeks ago that she was going to be in the Albany area on February 14th, I'm like calling my cousin saying, wait a minute, come to my sister's show. She's only an hour away. Last night at the doctor's office, she says, oh, wait a minute. It's in New Hartford. 10 minutes from here. Nowhere near Albany.
I didn't really think there were any
good surprise, though.
Out here.
There are a few of us.
Yeah, so that's where we're going tonight. And that's why Sue might not be here for the second half. I might have to do it alone. But we have some, I think I had made all my announcements. Okay. So everybody, and also, if you want to check out my parents, and they may be interrupting, although Mom is sitting very quietly over there watching us.
With good posture.
Yes. There's Paranormal Karen, the web series. That is the 1-minute funny web series. And you can see my parents on there. I interviewed them about a ghost in their place, and it was enlightening.
Yes, very.
And then there's Paranormal Karen, the podcast, 2 separate YouTube stations. Okay, so we are going to start with a listener email that we love. This goes along. Everybody heard us do the Alexa episode.
Yes.
Is Alexa working for the CIA? Which I believe she is.
I am.
You know what else?
Believing that my sister believes she is what?
We remember that we said, "What's your favorite movie?" And she was going to say Blade Runner. That's what the article that I watched said. But she said Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
And she said because it was a very something movie. Remember, there was a phrase she used.
Yes.
Somebody emailed me and told me that was on the poster.
Oh.
So it was something, or it was something like that. So Alexa didn't pick out that phrase. She was repeating a phrase from the movie promo.
Which will happen in one of our emails right now.
Okay, so go ahead. So this is...
I am going to preface... No, I won't preface this. I'll jump in the middle, as I usually do. This is from Christina.
Okay.
And this says, "Hi, Karen. I may have sent you a previous email instead of this one. Weird. I'm glad you're having just a little housekeeping here, I guess. I'm glad you're having Sonia on your program again. I think it's great to use, to do comedy up here. Have you ever performed at the Blue Lagoon in Fairbanks? We went to a few comedy nights there a while back. Fairbanks is too darn cold. I agree. We actually moved this spring and are headed back to Maine to settle down. There you go. If you live in Maine, welcome her.
Yes, and you know what too? In Fairbanks, there's a club that I did play, and they're always like, "Why don't you come back?" And I was like, "You got to tell the booker." So if you go to comedy night in Fairbanks, there's 2 wicked nice guys. Ask for me back. Okay, so here's the email she sent last week.
All right. I listened to your paranormal potpourri earlier this week. You and your sister talked briefly about how it's possible that our phones, smart devices, etc., are listening to us. So last week, my husband and I were at the liquor store trying to figure out what to get for the weekend. I was debating on whether or not to get the grapefruit and Kettle One vodka or just some hard seltzer water. My phone was in my purse, asleep, but not off. I told my husband that I didn't really want to buy a big thing of vodka for $33 and moved on to grab the seltzer water, which I hear is pretty bad. I hope you liked it.
But wait, is seltzer water?
It's hard seltzer water. So
okay.
Yeah.
But okay.
I bought that
All right.
before.
So in other words, that isn't like 2 different, that's hard seltzer
It's
has
still,
alcohol.
she's going to drink a little, but
Got it. Okay.
not for so much money.
Right. Not for 33. That's
Last night, while I was scrolling through my feed, an ad for Kettle One grapefruit and rose vodka showed up as a sponsored ad on Facebook. Holy cow. I read that the possible reasons for certain ads popping up are based on your posts, likes, etc. I'm very careful on what I post to my page because my mom and my other family members see my page. All of the pictures I post are of my dogs, my daughters, or my decorated cookies and random things. I don't post about vodka or hard liquor. I've never internet searched Kettle One. I don't like any of their social media pages. I only mentioned it once at the liquor store the week prior to the ad showing up. I also read an article that stated that technology to listen to us via our smartphones is there. Whether or not it is used is the question. Oh, I believe it's used. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to add to that, Christina. Just the other day, my husband couldn't find his sunglasses anywhere. And all of a sudden, we went in the house and up pops in his Yahoo Mail sunglasses advertisement. His friend said he should get some sneakers at Kohl's. And Pat said, I haven't been to Kohl's. Hour later, he got an advertisement for Kohl's in a feed. And we do have a Kohl's credit card, but we haven't used it in 2 years. All out of the blue.
Wow. That's amazing. This is all Google. I really think this is Google more than anything. Google is the devil.
Oh,
Google keeps all keeps all your Gmails, including the drafts or the ones you haven't sent. Like that's how bad Google is. I'm watching that. I'm going to do a whole thing on Google because I have I saw a movie about it.
Well, Speaking of Google,
being
the devil. This next part that Christina sent is a little bit frightening. Bye, honey. Bye, Mom.
Well, I don't know. Were we bothering you?
No.
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
My mom was going to leave. You can listen.
You can go with Dad.
We know you can go with Dad.
We know you like to talk to Dad all the time. It's obvious.
And
she just did a big eye roll, just so you know.
Okay.
I also have a Google Home. I only had one odd thing happen when my daughter and I were asking it questions. We asked it, "What does a big dog say?" Google Home replied in a voice that sounded a lot like my daughter. One human says, "I'm hungry." We both about died laughing. I'm hungry is pretty much her catchphrase. She's a growing preteen. See what I mean?
Oh.
That's awful. We have tried numerous times to get Google Home to say it again for my husband, but not. It just says that it doesn't understand. But no, probably. We have tried the original question and asking it, what does one human say? Unfortunately, we can't replicate what happened. I fully believe that our smart devices are keeping close tabs on us. I've said a few times out loud that whomever is listening to me must be extremely bored. Ha ha. Thanks for another great episode. I can tell that you have a great relationship with your sister, and it's fun to listen to you both. That's a big lie. We both just have a lot of alcohol before we record. Not really at all. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to the next episode, Christina.
Thank you, Christina. That's amazing.
It is amazing and a little frightening.
It is frightening. Well, I remember a long time ago hearing that weird article about people's phones that got hacked. And I knew a guy that got upset with his girlfriend. And when she went to sleep, he downloaded a program into her phone. And what the program does is it took all her information, all her text messages, all her emails, and sent them to him. No matter what she sent, it sent him to him.
Oh, no, I've heard about this program. Yeah. That's a bad thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. But then he deletes the program, but it's still in there. But did I ever tell you, I know the guy, I don't know if I want to get him on the podcast, but I know this guy that he's the guy that made up the robocall. He invented the robocall for the telemarketers when they're calling you from all over. Isn't that awful?
It is awful.
And he's very nice. And places call him to learn to hack into their system, to go in and go.
To practice.
To make sure that he goes, you guys are not protected at all. And there's other stuff. Like if you're on Wi-Fi, anybody can get in. Anybody that knows can get in. If they're that smart. So we have no protection. I remember when it was like, I'm not going to put my credit card online because I don't want anyone to know.
And you're right. Like, you know what?
Everything.
Well, can I shout out again to a podcast?
Sure.
That your friend, it's called Reply All, and they just did an entire podcast about robocalls and where they show up and why they show up and how fast somebody can nail you. Exactly what you just said, but in detail.
Yeah, I might get him on, except that I'm afraid. Well, he talks about in his act because he's also a comic, but I'm kind of like, people may hate him because I almost punched him when I found out it was him. He was like, my machine calls faster than any other machine ever.
No.
So I'll get him on though, and then he'll get terrible letters. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The next one, you can't say this person's name.
I will not. Can I just throw one more in there?
Sure.
There's an interesting podcast that's it's fictional, and it's called Deborah, and the premise is that a person is answering all your questions.
Oh.
And it was really good. It had Kristen Wiig on it. I think that's how you say her name, right? It's called Sandra, Sandra.
I thought you said it was Deborah.
I lied. I meant to say Sandra.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Everybody would have been looking for the wrong thing. But it was like
a story
she was like an Alexa.
Okay. I'll read that because I have
no,
trouble.
it's a podcast.
Okay, yeah, I have trouble following those. The only one I really liked was Alice Isn't Dead. Alice is Dead. That was a good one.
Oh, well, I will listen to that.
But it's a scary kind of one.
Well, this one is super interesting, and it's just fun. It's like, I don't know how many episodes, but I think you would really like it.
And now you know this one thrills me. Go right down to...
Don't say my name?
Go right down to Hey Karen, ran across your podcast.
Okay. Oh, I know you like it because it's about the Mothman. Hey, Karen, ran across your Mothman podcast. Thought I would tell you the crazy story that happened back in around 2005 to myself and the lady I was dating at the time. We had just got back from her house from dining out. She was leaning against my car, and we were talking and smooching. I love it.
That says his age.
That's dating. Yes, dating him right away. Smooching a bit before she went in for the evening. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw what I thought was a black trash bag stuck in the tree next to her driveway, flapping in the breeze.
Oh,
I know that's a great description. I love that. Okay, sorry, I'm like so judgy, but that was really good.
I have smart listeners. Christina was good too.
Yes, she was.
Okay.
These are very good. As my eyes focused better, I could see it had, legs and a head. I still thought it was, my mom had a little giggle over there. I still thought it was someone hiding under a trash bag or some piece of plastic. I whispered into the gal's ear that someone was hiding in the tree and was watching us. It heard me. And as the gal turns around, it jumps out of the tree behind the trunk in the dark. Is that what it said? No, out of the tree behind the trunk in the dark. Okay. Still thinking we had a peeping Tom, I headed towards the tree to give the person the what for. Oh my goodness, whomever you are, you need to let us know how old you are. Because I'm going to guess.
My age, 50?
No. Give him the what for? Do you say that? I love it. I love it. Okay. We want
Lickety split, I'd give him the what for.
I love that one too. I think I would say lickety split. Anyway, let's see if we have any more.
Maybe he was trying to be polite,
phrases
not
like
swear.
that.
Okay.
I love it. Okay. As I headed to the tree, it started to bark like a dog.
Oh.
This stopped me in my tracks for a moment, trying to figure out what was going on. The gal is excited and asking who it is and what it is. After gaining some composure, I headed around the tree. The thing jumps back into the tree and scales to the top instantly. It is pretty dark out, so both of us are scanning the tree to see if we can see it. We see it go from the tree to one 60 feet away. In the silhouette in the sky, we could see it had wings. It had wings. It did not flap, but rather sailed to the other tree. Then it jumped to a nearby tree and then to a tree in the neighbor's yard. So it's jumping all over the place. This last tree, it lost its footing and started hitting the branches as it fell to the ground behind a privacy fence. We heard it hit the ground and it was moaning like a human. I'm running towards a fence, hoping to somehow see whatever this was. Wow. Okay. I know we're going to keep going, but what was the size again? What did he say? The size of a bag?
Oh, he thought it was a trash bag. So if it was the size of a trash
bigger.
bag.
All right. Because I was going to say, well, maybe people would say a flying squirrel. Those doubters, those naysayers, as he probably would say.
Well, that would be a giant.
That's what I mean. So it wouldn't work.
Which would be that's a good story too. A giant
flying squirrel. All right. The gal is freaking out by this time and is yelling for me to get back and get in the house. I did stop and go back to her without much encouragement because I was not sure what I may encounter. Each leap it made, you could see it sailing on its wings. It was about the size of an 8-year-old. Okay, good answer. There you go for me. Maybe 5 feet or a little bigger. It was near black and had rubbery, draping looking wings. We told a few people, but the response was not favorable, so we just kept it to ourselves after that. Probably good idea. The head did not have red eyes, and the best I could tell, the face was round, but maybe had a nose on it like a dog or a fox. It was hard to tell and remember with so much happening all at once. Oh, that was tricky. The podcast rang a bell with me since this critter never flapped to fly or made a sound other than barking like a dog and moaning after hitting the ground. I did go out with a flashlight after calming the gal down, but there was nothing there. But I had tried over a half an hour by the time she would let me go outside.
It had been over. It had
been over a half an hour by the time she would let me go outside. Thought you might find our experience interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. To this day, I still find it hard to believe this happened. It is also counterintuitive since I'm a pilot and understand aerodynamics and know what it takes to fly. And weight to wingspan ratios and such thing. And such. This thing broke all the rules. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what's good about this guy?
It was well written, and he saved the twist for the end that he was a pilot.
Yeah, good point. Or he buried the lead if you wanted to know that first thing. But my thing is that I liked, and I bet you do, he came straight out clean and said, well, it didn't have red eyes, like he presented both sides.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had his gal on a date.
Yes, his gal on a date with the what for. And you know what else though? There's a dog man. I'm going to check back because I know I'm going to email him back because he said to tell him when it was on. But there is a dog man, and this just sort of leads back to all those cryptozoological characters, which I'm looking for a cryptozoologist to be on this show, people. And then we can talk Bigfoot. A lot of requests for Bigfoot, but I don't have a lot of Bigfoot friends yet. So I think that, yeah. So now what we're going to do, we're going to break for a commercial, and then I got another Mothman article for you. And then, we're going to read a BuzzFeed article that is, my favorite.
Creepy.
I don't think it's creepy, but you would think it's creepy.
I think it's creepy.
And then I got another article about my new favorite thing that happened in Russia many, many years ago that, they're reopening the investigation. All right, we'll be right back. Fierce, Funny, and Female has won over 10 book awards, and probably while I'm telling you this, it's winning 10 more. As one of the first women to work as a laborer in the Texas oil field, Marty McGibbon set off explosives and staked oil wells before realizing her childhood dream of becoming a successful stand-up comic. Marty introduces readers to a wide range of characters in her life, from sleazy authority figures and crazy Corn Belt cult leaders to Texas oil billionaires to wild-eyed redneck co-workers who robbed banks on their lunch hour. This is the second in Marty's series, and it is one of the most exciting stories. It's the story of a young woman's triumph over adversity and trauma, told with grace, wit, and laugh-out-loud humor. Look for Fierce, Funny, and Female on Amazon.com, author Marty McGibbon. All right, here we are. We're back. Now, I'm going to read you this article that somebody sent me because the Mothman, the movie and everything came out a while ago. I don't remember. Definitely wasn't in the 2010, after 2010. It was before 2010. But this thing, has made a resurgence all of a sudden. He's all over Chicago. Yep, this one. Bat-like flying humanoid, an obvious face reported near Indians Creek Reservoir. You want to read this or should I? You read this, I'll read the BuzzFeed one.
Okay. And the group that put it out, Singular Fortean, did you read that before? Mm-mm. They have a Patreon rather. So you're going to put them in the notes probably,
okay,
I'm thinking?
I will.
Okay. So they must have a lot of stories. Yeah, I know. Now Karen's all excited.
Okay.
All right. Lon Strickler of Phantoms and Monsters spoke to a witness via telephone on January 23rd.
And let me just say this, because we read an article the other week, because Lon's is on this because he lives in the Chicago area.
It's the same person that you do know this?
And everyone, if you have not subscribed to Phantoms and Monsters, it's the best email. It comes every day. He does a great job. Okay.
Great. And then just, again, that's Singular Fortean Society?
Yes.
Okay. And now I'll go back to the beginning.
Okay.
All right. So we're at January 23rd. It says his name one more time. Lon Strickler of Phantoms and Monsters spoke to a witness via telephone on January 23rd regarding the sighting of a bat-like flying humanoid with an obvious face. So I take it he's got something on him that looked like a face. The sighting took place on December 26th, 2018, between 4 and 4:30 p.m. The witness and his wife were traveling southbound on a country road about a mile south of the Prairie Creek Reservoir near Muncie, Indiana, Strickler said. The date was December 26th, 2018 at dusk. A huge flying object caught his attention. The witness is a military veteran, hunter, trapper, and farmer who lives in the immediate area, he continued. His knowledge of military craft or flying craft, wildlife, and his keen sense of observance was apparent while I talked to him. The winged being that he was observing was unlike anything he had ever seen before. The creature was flying just above the treetop level and was easily visible to the witness. His reaction was to slam on the brakes in wonderment, exclaiming to his wife, "Did you see that?" His wife was shaken by the sudden stop and was unable to react fast enough to see the winged being. Now, here's super interesting because he has so many descriptions like the past guy, right? Mm-hmm. The creature described by the witness was very similar to the other reports of winged humanoids around Lake Michigan, including the stillness of its wings and flight. He stated that the being was humanoid in shape with an obvious face, Strickler said. The body had a length of approximately 6 to 7 feet with bat-like wings that were extremely wide. The being was dark-colored and seemed to glide at a steady speed. He never noticed the flapping of wings while watching the creature. According to the witness, the creature's wings had a leathery texture. He was unable to discern if the creature had any additional limbs beyond its wings, nor could he recognize fine detail in his face. Also similar to other sighting reports is the profound effect the experience had on the witness. The witness's wife states that he has been truly affected by the incident and has constantly mentioned it to her in an attempt to explain what this winged being really was. Strickler said he had refused to mention the incident outside of his family. When he read about the recent sightings in Gary, Indiana, he called his wife from his job and asked her to contact me right away. He later called me when he got home. This witness was very forthcoming and anxious to find out what this creature was. The sighting location, about a mile south of the Prairie Creek Reservoir, is around 2 miles southeast of Muncie, Indiana, and approximately 140 miles southeast of Lake Michigan.
Wait, is Muncie, Indiana where the Music Man came?
River, isn't that River?
Oh, River City.
Yeah.
There's trouble in River City. Well, now there's trouble
in Muncie.
In Muncie, Indiana. Okay, go ahead. Less than 5 miles.
You were close, though. Okay. Let's see. Less than 5 miles to its south is Summit Lake State Park. Gary, Indiana. That's it, right near there. Let's see. Gary, Indiana, a city on the southern shore of Lake Michigan, has seen a recent spate of flying creature reports and is the same distance from the sighting location as the Great Lake, about 140 miles. Oh, wow. This is the latest in a string of flying creature sightings around Lake Michigan that ostensibly began in the spring of 2017. But more historical accounts are being reported as more people become aware of the phenomenon. Most of the sightings have taken place near the lakefront in Chicago, within a few miles of Lake Michigan. Although there are reports coming from the suburbs surrounding Chicago and even farther afield in every state bordering the lake, the sightings generally take place in the evening or at night, often in or near a park around water. Witnesses consistently describe a large bat or bird-like creature, although in a smaller number of cases the creature was described as insect-like, sometimes with glowing or reflective red, yellow, or orange eyes, and humanoid features such as arms and legs are often reported. Many of the sightings are also something seen only briefly or are described as a flying creature with few details, which leaves open the possibility that a large bird or bird-like being could explain some of the encounters. And then you want me to read the next little part there?
If you want to.
To report a sighting, reach out to us directly at the Singular Fortean Society through our contact page. Okay, there's another person that dealt with flight, like our last guy.
Yep, obviously. And you know what else is funny? They always say, like the government has us looking down at our phones all the time. So we're missing all the UFOs and stuff. Maybe not the government, but you know what I mean? Like how many people look up now? They don't look up and see anything. But I understand that thing where the guy can get very, very, obsessed with something like this. It's really interesting.
And it seems like both of the guys were a little bit skeptical too. So it's not like they were probably surprised that they're saying this.
Yes. And now, so everybody continue. I think that was sent in from a listener. So everyone please continue with your Mothman things because I love the Mothman.
She is obsessed.
I'm obsessed with the Mothman. So now we're going to do the BuzzFeed article and then we'll have another ad and then it'll seem like the people won't know that we went to a show and came back and taped the third part after my show, but they won't know it.
Well, they will now.
All right. Okay. So this is a BuzzFeed article. I do not think this is creepy at all, but you're going to say it's creepy. Did you read it yet?
I read a lot of it, and I have a theory. I didn't finish the whole thing, but as I read, I was like,
Okay. All right. So a woman tweeted this scary thing her son said, so other people shared their creepy kid stories, and they're pretty disturbing, although I don't think they are. A while back, A Valley Girl, VALEEGRRL, tweeted that her son said this terrifying thing. Son, Cole was so sad we died because he really loved our mama, but I wasn't too sad because I picked you to be my new mama. That's what her son said.
I think it's creepy. Okay. It sounds like he's being
trying to say we died in a last life
and we're back
and I picked you. Right. So that's not creepy if you If you believe what I believe.
Well, and the other thing is, don't they say when kids are younger?
They can remember it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So
Or they're more apt to believe also than when they get older. Is that true?
That's
Or
true.
see
Well,
things?
they hear more things. It's like also they hear more ghosts and they hear more voices. You know, remember how the cell phones had that ringtone that only teenagers could hear?
Because it's higher pitch.
Because it's higher pitch. And so when you're really little, those little ears are amazing.
That's a good point.
Yeah. That's why they see more things too. Their body is fresh.
Yes. I
Not like ours.
had a little student who would see his brother.
Oh, and his
Yeah,
dad
I know.
passed
Look
away?
at you. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was frightening.
That's not right.
For me.
Is that nice? No,
It was
that is
good
nice.
that and he saw him for a long time, I think.
Okay.
Maybe he still does. When my daughter, go ahead.
Okay, so this is what someone else tweeted. When my daughter was 2, I was giving her a bath and sighed deeply, frustrated with the 2-year battle of any water touching her face. It equals a full-blown meltdown. She looked up at me and said, I just scared Mommy. I drowned last time I was alive and went back to playing with bath toys. So it means she drowned it in her last life.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I think that's why people have really uncomfortable fears or pains or like if somebody always has an abdominal pain, I think that's a scar from a last life where they were shot in their abdomen or something when it's unexplainable. They bring that
it's like
energy into
the
this.
girl with the singer sewing machine there going down stairs. Do you remember we read that story and she saw, well, okay, it's a terrible comparison, but she saw 3 guys like
she saw
soldiers. So she had some weird feelings. I'll have to go back and read
but
that.
I don't know if that was the same as, I think this is
She
a
wasn't
past
reincarnated.
life.
Yeah,
Right,
okay.
right. Okay, you want to read the 3-year-old, my 3-year-old?
I sure do. My 3-year-old will often talk about her friend George and how he wears fun hats and likes to blow bubbles. That is her great-grandpa. He died a full decade before she was born. She happens to share his birthday.
Wow. Why would an old grandpa want to blow bubbles?
I was going to say to entertain little children, but yeah.
We had a terrible joke about that where a guy said, the Comedy Store, we used to say it all the time, where you been? Blowing bubbles. Really, I didn't know he was back in town.
Where's Mom for that joke?
Oh, that's why she left. Okay. Here's another one. Sitting for my nephew, 4, and baby niece, I heard him hysterical, ran upstairs, and he's guarding his sister's crib, sobbing and purple with anger. Told me the man was trying to make the baby walk. My nephew was just screaming, she's too small to walk, leave her alone. Okay, that could be bad. That could be, that would probably be the kid was seeing a ghost.
I don't like that. All right.
Yes. Okay, go right to the next one.
When I was like 9, I was in a homemade pool in Haiti. I was left alone, geez Louise, and was having trouble keeping my head up and over the water when some guy plucked me out and starts to speak English to me. He was very nice, but after a moment walked off before my aunt came looking for me.
There's more to that one.
Oh, down underneath?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think anything of it, despite it being strange for him to just know I spoke English. But months later, Ma pulled out a picture of a half-brother who died when she was a teenager, and on my life, it was him. He was the one that pulled me out. But these are good stories. These are like mini stories for our, when we do the ghost story thing.
Right. These are just that these were all in one on BuzzFeed. And but I didn't think it was creepy at all. I didn't think it was creepy at all.
No, that's like a normal kind of
it's a good one. It's
generic-y
dead
one.
people
Yeah,
saving
good.
live people. Yeah. Okay. My son went to my ex-mother-in-law's house for Christmas when he was 3. He came back and said, I saw Grandpa. No one could see him but me, but he was happy. His grandpa died a few months before I got pregnant with him. Lights stayed on that night. That's, that's not creepy. Is it creepy to you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, this one has abbreviations that you might want to read because is it my friend said, SD?
I think so.
Because I'm too young.
Yes, my friend said her grandkid was scared of the scratchy-faced man in her closet. One day she was organizing pictures and her grandkid said, I know her. She said, no, honey, she died a long time ago. That's my grandma. Kid said, that's the lady who protects me from the scratchy-faced man.
Okay.
Which I have to tell you, in my private cases that I don't really talk about on here, 2 people with things in the closet. 2 different people with things in the closet. Nothing scary, nothing to be, but why in the closet? That's my wondering. If that's the coincidence of this is the 3rd I'm hearing of something in the closet. I don't know.
Are you counting my friend?
Oh, no. So that's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So everyone, maybe we need a house with no closets.
And you should ask Mom about me when I was a baby, but she won't remember.
When you were waving at Grandpa?
Yeah, in the crib, right?
See? You're cursed too.
No, I don't remember.
I'm just kidding.
You think I was doing that?
Sure.
Maybe. I could have just had gas, as they say. And we know the Rontowski trait of gas.
Constitution. Okay.
Years ago, my baby brother passed away, and 9 months later, I had a little sister born prematurely. When she was when she was about 4 one day, she told my mom, I'm glad to be with you guys again. God took me away because I was very sick, but that made you really sad. So he told me I could come back.
Oh, that's
I like that
story.
one. Yeah, and I'm glad that she said that.
I am too, because if she had kept it quiet, they would have always wondered about the other kid.
Well, they would have felt way worse.
See, but I think that's too. You have the option of these souls around you.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Same thing happened with my son. His imaginary friend's name was John. My brother John died 2 years before my son was born. I had pictures of John, and I said one time to my son, he would have loved you. My kid said, oh, he does, and he misses you. I cried in the closet.
Oh, it's the closet.
Oh, she probably,
it's not a ghost,
I know,
though.
Thank God it wasn't somebody else.
Hey, you know what? The more we read these, the more I'm like, oh, yeah, that happened. All right. One night, my then 5-year-old daughter and I were in the basement when she pointed at a corner in a dark room and told me, there's a little kid there. I said, no, there's no kid there. And she raised her voice and said, yes, right there. Look. I picked her up and ran upstairs. Okay.
When our son was 3, he was pissed he was in a timeout. So he went out his bedroom window onto the roof. Extremely steep. When I found him already back in his room, looking out the window, I asked him, how did you get back in? My angel pushed me in. And actually, it's funny because I think I think an episode just came out with my friend April, and she had the same experience. Okay, go ahead.
A good friend has a niece who said to her mom at the age, okay, come on, try it again. A good friend has a niece who said to her mom at the age of 4, as mom was tucking her in, Mama, the ceiling, what about it? It's full of blood.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's not a good one.
That is a good one. All right, how many of these are they? We got to get ready for the show. Oh, there's a lot. Okay.
Okay, why don't we go to 15? How's that?
Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, let's go.
Or we'll just stop at 13. Lucky number. Go.
No, we'll go to 15. During a thunderstorm, told my 4-year-old Thunder was my pop and Nana bowling in heaven. My 6-year-old asked Nana's name. I said Stella. Little one says, I know Stella. She sits on my dresser and talks to me. Asked her what color her hair was. She said red. She was right. Never saw the picture before. Ah! Okay. We'll read these quick. Okay.
We missed 13 and 14.
I know. We'll skip
Well, that's okay.
Yeah. I got to get ready for the show.
You get ready for the show. We'll get ready for the show.
Okay. So my friend's brother once sat there and there was footage from 9/11 and he casually looked up and was like, oh, that's where I died. We asked more and he told us details that he couldn't have known. He was 3. Wow.
Wow is right. And I don't even see where that is. But
it was 16.
Okay. Yeah, that is super. Yeah, these are a lot of I don't know.
These are getting a little better, a little creepier. Not better, they're all good. My 3-year-old refuses to leave the house with a Nerf gun on his hip. And for a while, he would say, Mommy, I need to have it. Last time
he doesn't.
I never have it. They shoot me, and I just die. At one point, I was tucking in my 3-year-old. He pointed into the darkness and said, "Who's that man?" I said, "What man?" He said, "The one standing in the corner wearing a hat." That's not good. Okay. My best friend lost her unborn daughter in a car crash when she was 7 months pregnant. After that, she felt cold for weeks. Nothing could help her feel warm. A few weeks after that, she went to her mother for breakfast, and her mother said that she had a dream about my best friend's grandpa with a baby in his arms. He said, "I found Julia's baby girl. I'm going to keep her safe and warm." My best friend told her mother she suddenly felt warm again. A few hours later on the phone, they were told that grandpa died last night.
That's my favorite one, though.
There you go. Perfect. All right, I'll do 13 and 14 since I skipped them.
Okay.
When I was little, I used to pretend that my name was Elizabeth Ann Sullivan, and I liked to wear long dresses and a bow in my hair. I used that name to play this game I made up called Old Fashioned Family, and I would tell my siblings how to be old-fashioned, and then I found out years later, when I was in my 20s, that my great-grandmother that I didn't really know, she died when I was young, had a little sister born in the late 1800s whose name was Elizabeth Ann Sullivan and always wore bows and died at the age of 3 of influenza.
So I bet she gets a flu shot all the time.
Yeah, that's probably... Here's the last one. When my older brother was little, he asked my mom for 2 glasses of water. He said one was for him and the other was for the man in the kitchen. No one was home, no one was home, but them two.
It must
them
be.
two.
Them
Them
two.
two. Okay, typo. When my mom told him to describe the man, he described our grandpa who died a couple months before he was born. So a lot of grandpas. Now, we barely knew our grandpas.
Yeah, no.
I know that our one grandpa, when he died, he knocked over the clock, and everybody in the family, a clock stops when anybody on Dad's side dies.
Yeah, they're all done. It'll be happening when we go down. or maybe
Our phones will stop.
Battery's dead.
Who do tarot readers go for tarot readings? They go to Melissa Sonova at melissasonova.com. She gave me the best reading a couple of months ago that is still resonating and helping me out now. She is authentic and to the point. You loved her on the podcast. She is the no BS tarot reader. She also has a tarot class online right now. Check it out. Just watching the promo, you will see how much fun you are going to have while you learn. Also, check out her book, which is always right beside me when I'm doing my readings or my tarot card for me in the morning. It is called Kitchen Table Tarot, and you will love it. Melissa Sonova, that's MELISSACYNOVA. Check her out. Okay, so it's a lot of people don't know there was a whole day between today and the other episodes. The first and second half. That's how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. We go with 2 days. It takes us 2 days to do a podcast.
But she took the magic out of it right now by telling you.
I know. And you know what? My glasses are so dirty, and you know I hate that.
She hates it.
Your microphone's way too low, I think.
Hold on, everybody. Here it comes.
Okay.
Better?
I think it's good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So here is, and this is going to turn into, the dog's going to cough. Everyone just ignore that. This is going to turn into one of my favorite obsessions, right up there with the Mothman. Okay. And it's, I'm starting with the article that just came out in CNN. Russia reopens investigation into 60-year-old Dyatl Pass mystery. And I'm sure I'm saying Dyatl wrong. Dyatlov. It's very Russian. Dyatl Pass mystery.
That sounded a little German.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea.
German? Okay.
Because now we're really being racist, maybe?
Against Germans and Russians?
I don't know. We're doing some really crummy accents. Well, that would be you.
No, crummy accents are racist. Maybe that was a crime. Rich Little would be in jail. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Russian prosecutors have launched a new investigation into the mysterious case of 9 students who died in a bizarre circumstances after disappearing on a skiing trip 60 years ago. Countless articles, books, and documentaries have sought to explain the fate of the group, from the Ural Polytech Institute, who set off on a trip in 1959 under the direction of Igor Devolt, a 5th-year student. Okay, ready. Then they have a picture of him. The DeVoe Pass incident, as it became known, has been compared with other unsolved mysteries, including the disappearance of Lord Lucan, the British aristocrat who vanished after his children's nanny was found murdered, and the abandoned ship, the Marie Celeste. Maybe I'll look into those later. I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. This is from CNN, so you know it's good. It has inspired many theories over the decades, but now the authorities are aiming to get to the bottom of it once and for all. Nobody has so far managed to uncover solid proof of why the group of experienced hikers fled their tents in a remote camping spot while partially clothed and without footwear. This is in the middle of winter in Russia.
I say orgy and a bear.
Orgy and a bear. Their bodies were discovered over the following weeks in the snow, with several having suffered serious head wounds. The 7 men and 2 women set off on a ski trip on January 23rd, 1959. Their 16-day itinerary aimed to cover 190 miles and cross the North Ural Mountains. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Orten and Kayukoslavata. I don't know.
That was good.
That's close. The plan had been to make contact by telegram from the final point, a village called Visaya, but this never happened. A search operation was launched on February 20th, the 6 days after the students' tent, which had been sliced open, was discovered. The following day, the bodies of Yuri Dosan something and Yuri, they had 2 Yuris, and Yuri's Krivana something, were found just over a mile away, lying by a campfire. They were both stripped to their underwear. In the days that followed, 3 more skiers were dug up, including Divol, while the remaining 4 were only found in May once the snow had melted. A criminal investigation opened at the end of February. Oops, hold on a second. I hit a button and it went away. Wait a minute. And then it went to the Loch Ness Monster. Stupid iPad, stop it. Okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. So the snow had melted. A criminal case was opened at the end of February, but it was closed 3 months later, having concluded that the spontaneous power of nature was to blame. The Soviet-era investigation remained classified until the 1970s, after the AFP news agency reported, for many, this explanation was far from satisfactory, as it failed to explain why the adventurers had rushed out into the freezing cold wearing only underwear and without shoes, nor did it address why several of the group had suffered broken bones and skulls. Some 75 theories have been put forward according to the prosecutor's office, including an alien abduction. Another suggests they were killed by members of the Mansani people, for whom the mountains were spiritually symbolic. Still, others claim the scene was staged in order to cover up details of a secret weapons testing program. However, the new inquiries will only investigate 3 theories considered the most likely ones. All of them are somehow connected with natural phenomenon. I like how they're doing this, because the other thing that people aren't saying is they cut out of their tents from the inside out.
I swear I've heard this on My Favorite Murder.
Oh, they might have done it.
Yeah.
But now we're hearing it here.
Oh, yeah. And it wasn't from CNN either.
It wasn't.
But I may
Well, there's
not
many
have.
stories, but it's just a freakish thing. It's freezing in Russia. You're in a tent. That's bad to begin with. You rip out of your tent with a knife out, and then someone cracks your skull. Okay. All of these are somehow connected to natural phenomenon, said Alexander something. Everyone's last name is something in Russia. The official representative of the Russian prosecutor general. Crime is out of the question, he said, adding there is not single proof, even an indirect one, to favor the criminal version. It was either an avalanche, a snow slab, or a hurricane. None of those.
What's a snow slab?
I don't know.
So they're saying natural disaster, not alien.
Right. I'm going to go with alien, though, because I'm sure once they open this up, alien people are going to come out with their theory, which I'd rather hear. Relatives, the media, and the public still ask prosecutors to determine the truth and don't hide the suspicions that something was hidden from them. Appearing at a press conference, a spokesman for the prosecutor's office for the Skrdovsk region revealed a 400-page volume of original case material.
Oh, my goodness.
Andrea Karvaiko, these names are going to kill me, told the news conference that investigators were relying on the help of friends and family of the deceased, as well as the modern technology which was not available at the time. Also, a press conference with Peter Bartolome, a friend of Divolk. He said, a year prior to the incident, we went to the subpolar Uranus in an expedition where the conditions were much more difficult than the last venture. I have always characterized him as wonderfully knowledgeable person, an athlete, always well prepared. One could always rely on him. I can say the same thing for the rest of the guys, although we did not go on as many expeditions with Igor. I am glad that years after, a high-level investigation is resumed to understand exactly what happened. Next month, prosecutors will fly to the site, and a range of experts and rescue workers will be involved in the investigations. Experts will conduct 9 different examinations, including a forensics probe, which will help to fill a number of blank spots. Okay, so let's look at, what did they call it? What is a snow slab, right?
I've never heard that.
I know. Now, if it was an avalanche, though,
maybe it's a big fat piece that comes off a mountain, like a big whatever. Can we see, what's the title again? Because I would like to see a picture of these people.
There is a picture. Okay, I'll send you the thing. Okay, Okay, so a snow slab, a relatively cohesive snowpack layer, what makes a slab. When stronger snow overlies a weaker snow, we call it a flab. A slab.
So it comes off.
A slab is when you have something sitting on top of nothing.
Oh.
Okay, so if it went down. But wouldn't they know that from the tent? Like if there's an avalanche, wouldn't the tent have snow?
Yeah, especially, well, maybe it was flat and they could, how could they figure out it was cut from the inside out? That's the thing.
Right.
If it got covered by a slab.
Also, what would be in there? Like, would that be a
bodies that have
snowman? Comes up, woo!
Or the murders happened inside. People were trying to get out. That's the hard part. If they were murders.
Right, everybody was bumped on the head.
And then you got the other 2 at the campfire. It's a conundrum.
It's a conundrum of a lot of things, including a lot of lousy Russian names. Okay, so I'm going to show you the article.
I just would like to see those people.
Right, and I'm going to spell the name so that folks, because everybody's really great about sending me the Mothman stuff, you can send it to paranormalkaren@gmail.com or go to my website.
You know what they could do that would be super good?
Go to Russia and take pictures?
Well, yes, your Russian listeners could do that. You could also put the phonetic pronunciation in for each name.
Oh, sure.
And so we'll know how to say them.
It's Dyatlov, pass. Dyatlov, pass. The 6-year mystery, we'll be looking into this more. I'll be looking into this more. Also, what was I going to say? I don't get how this could be snow related. Somebody said their tongues were cut out. But that would happen when a body decomposes. I guess the tongue goes first or something. And then it runs off into the woods.
Yeah, some of these are different on that sounds awful. Some are a little different on Wikipedia.
So, some of the facts.
Like it said only one person lost let's see, the body of another team member was missing its tongue and eyes, so it only says one.
Right. But this is all the stuff that was part of the myth, and then that would go first, though, or that could be animals. So that's a little bit, look at, though, here we got a picture of Igor Devol, and he looks Russian. Yeah, he looks nice.
But he looks
happy.
He does. He's got a little snow on his face.
Yeah, a little frozen mustache. And then here is...
the tent.
They got the tent? Oh, yeah, I got the tent here. Well, the tent
is covered on top, it looks like. Yeah, you know what, guys? You should look these pictures up.
Yeah, okay, so the way that is, though, how do we know when they found them that didn't happen after? But if it happened before and it landed on the tent, then they would be cutting their way out, right?
Oh, good
why
one.
would they all go a different direction? They all went different directions.
Well, maybe the other two that were at a campfire, how far away? A couple miles or something? Maybe they were out, not in the tent. Maybe they were trying to get help.
Interesting theory.
I think I got that from Karen in Georgia.
Oh. All right. Well, we're going to see what happens.
I don't think I made it up.
Yes, but also we don't know when that. Okay, but if you're in an avalanche, would they know there was an avalanche? Like, could the people tell that when they came to find them? When they found the tent, would they be able to look at the mountain and say, "Oh, there's been an avalanche. We can see that."
Well, with my forensic experience, I don't know.
Hey, Fairbanks, you might know about this. Send us some info, okay? And if anyone has a theory on this, please send it.
Yeah, meteorologists out there, I'm sure that's wrong. How about geologists? They might know.
Oh, I might know a geologist.
I do know one.
Let's email them.
I don't know mine that well.
Okay, I know mine.
They were a second grader I had.
Okay, I know who I'll ask. All right, let's see if we can find out if she knows about avalanches.
Do it.
Wait, you said geographer? What is it?
Geologist.
Rocks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that might totally be wrong. But I think that would be right. People, we're having a little discussion here. You need to help us out.
Please send it to us. All right. And I'm going to look for more on this. And I'm still doing fake your own death because I got derailed by the Google Alexa thing.
Yes.
All right, everybody. So that's the podcast for today. Come see me April 5th outside Chicago.
Is that right?
I think it's right. And the theater link will be in there. And then June, you can see me in the Nebraska Great American Comedy Festival. And then in Chicago, you can see me there too in June. All right.
She thinks. Check the sites.
Thanks. Please give me 5 stars. Send me any information, any ghost stories, any conspiracy, anything at all.
Definitely the ghost stories, people. Keep me working.
Keep Susie working. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yes.